Democrat of the day. We head to the north side of the metro, actually a little out of the metro. Cambridge North Branch up in that direction. Erik Johnson is kind enough to join us today. He is running for 28A, the House seat up there, and he's kind enough to take some time to talk about his campaign. Erik, thank you very much. I appreciate the time today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
No, my absolute pleasure here. We usually start off with a real simple one for you. Why don't you explain to everyone who exactly is Erik Johnson?
Yeah, well, Erik Johnson is a native of District 28A. I grew up in North Branch. I'm a graduate of North Branch High School. And between college and my career, it's taken me to St. Cloud, then down to Des Moines, and back up to the Twin Cities, and now to Cambridge. And I don't really have a background in politics, and my background's more in advertising and marketing, but I think that there's definitely parallels between the two of them, where you need to listen to people, need to be willing to take criticism, and need to be willing to effectively communicate with people, too. And the whole reason I decided to throw my hat into the ring is with the redistricting in the state here, the incumbent representative was going to be running unopposed. And, I just thought, if not me, then who? And if not now, when? So I wanted to, give it a go and give it my all. And I think that there is really some untapped potential for Democrats in, a traditionally red district like this. And I'm just really excited to get involved.
Erik, I want to just say, bless you, man. That is absolutely fantastic. And that's the spirit of the DFL right there. Don't just sit there and say, I'm not going to run here. You go out there, you take on the challenge on this individual, because it's important. I think it's important for everyone in that district. You want to have a choice. I was upset. My district, I'm Cheryl Uakim down in Hopkins here, right? The Republicans aren't even running anyone. I said, what value does that give to the citizenry when there isn't a opposition? And even the Democrats in these districts are like, why aren't you even running anyone? I agree with you wholeheartedly, and bless you, man. I'm glad you're up there running, because I tell you what, that helps get that DFL message out there.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I appreciate that. And, one of the things, too, is, as I said, I grew up in this district, and, I've maintained deep roots within this community. I still have family that lives in this district and just beyond the edges of the district as well. And, like I said, I think a Democrat can really have messaging that resonates up here. And, the biggest thing that, people want to do is they want to be heard. And I think in communities and districts like these, a lot of people feel like they've been overlooked. And really what I'm trying to do is show that I'm the candidate that's actually up here, willing to, put my boots on the ground and talk to people one-on-one. And, people don't have to agree with me on everything or really anything. But, what I want to do is make clear that, regardless, I'm going to be fighting for them, and I'm going to be fighting to win their vote. And, I'm going to be really authentic to who I am. I'm going to run a good campaign, and I don't pretend to be anything other than me. And, I think having a candidate that's actually willing to engage with the community and get involved and, be willing to hear people out on issues and just give them an opportunity to make their voices heard. I think that's what these people are yearning for.
With the redistricting, obviously this is an area here that, when I was a kid, to go up to your district you went well out of the city. You're getting a lot more people now from the city that work and live in work in the city who are living in Cambridge, Izanti, North Branch. I see it every time. If you drive 35 north, you're going through this district, 28A. So I guess the question here is, do you feel as if the population is starting to pick up, that you're starting to get much more of a metro area up there, to where it's the long established conservative ideals up there are starting to waver a little bit, that the population there is not necessarily representative of that old school far right mentality?
Yeah, I really do. And, I've been in communication with some of the local Democrats who have run for, state house and state senate and, just local offices here. And traditionally, they have been outperforming the national Democrats on the big tickets. And, to me, what that says is Democrats can play well here. And, I think the biggest thing, like I said, it's being authentic. It's, people can see through BS and see when you're being disingenuous, but as long as you're honest and willing to give everyone a fair shake, I think that, that can really resonate here. But, we've been involved in some local parades and community events, and there's definitely been a little bit of a mixed reception, but it hasn't been anything outrageous. There's actually been a lot of people who have been willing to hear me out. Even some of the donors that have, jumped in to support my campaign. There's a handful that I know are Republicans. And, at the end of the day, they support, my messaging and the causes I'm fighting for and, me as a candidate. So I think it's a real mix up here, but I think you are seeing some of those more kind of traditional, the way things have shaken out traditionally, I don't think is necessarily a lock, for this election cycle or moving forward.
Erik Johnson joining us, Democrat of the Day, 28A. And I think what you just said there is so important, is that you're getting Republicans who are supporting you, because the reality is that the Republican Party in Minnesota and nationwide has gone far right extremist crazy. And there's a lot of moderate Republicans that if you give them an option out there, that they'll say, okay, you know what, at least, I'm not for the extremism. I'm for, common sense. And I might not agree with everything that Erik's doing, but I agree with enough of it here that it's a better option than going with the crazy town on the far extreme. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate that. And those are exactly the people that I want to win over. At the end of the day, I'll take whoever is willing to support me. But, that's my whole thing is, people aren't going to agree with me on everything, and that's fine. But, the way I'm running my campaign is I'm really trying to approach this from what I view as a common sense perspective, and, not ideas that are necessarily just unique to Democrats or may not necessarily fall fully along party lines, but, it's who I am and what I support, and at the end of the day, I'm a proud Democrat and really just want to have the opportunity to represent our district as a Democrat, too.
One of the issues on your website here, and I'm so glad you're talking about this, affordable child care. This is not a city or a rural issue. It's everywhere. Child care costs are extraordinarily high. It's affecting, I imagine, everyone in your district as well. Talk about some of the ideas you have to make sure that the child care for your district and for the state stays affordable.
Yeah, definitely. It's not an idea where I have it fully fleshed out yet, to tell you the truth, but I can speak as a parent. I have a 2-year-old daughter, and, we have her in childcare and daycare, and it's outstanding. And even for, a working class household like me and my wife have with 2 incomes, it's a challenge. And, we're fortunate enough to have 2 incomes coming in. And, I just think about it from the perspective of, everyday citizens trying to, make a go and struggle and get by. And it's something that needs to be resolved. And we need to figure something out to make it easier for, any family, whether it's a couple, a single parent, a 1-income household, whatever it may be. We need to make it, we need to make sure that childcare is affordable and it's not going to, cripple people financially to have to do.
We obviously had the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and a lot of people are kind of concerned about exactly where that's going to lead with the Supreme Court on what other things here. Some of the other things that you are very much for is protecting individual privacy, as well as also keeping the government out of your bedroom, because, as I've mentioned with the overturning of Roe v. Wade, this opens up the door to bring back the old sodomy laws that used to exist, where law enforcement could kick open your private residence door and come arrest you for having an incorrect type of sex with the individual that you want to have sex with. And that, I don't think, is a road we want to go back down again. And I got to believe most Republicans agree that's probably not where we want to go as a country, to going back to, people kicking in individuals' doors and saying, you're violating the sex police.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that really summarizes it well. And it's an issue that, should matter to both Democrats or Republicans or independents or libertarians or whoever it may be. It's, this whole idea, we need to make sure that we protect our privacy. And, the overturning of Roe v. Wade shows that everything's on the table for the Supreme Court. And really, nowhere is safe. We're one election cycle away potentially from having even more rights stripped from us. And, at the end of the day, the government needs to stay out of our business, and what we do in our bedroom shouldn't matter to anyone but ourselves.
Word. Absolutely. Wonderful. Wonderfully said there. All right. So it's great when I get to talk to someone where there's an issue I have not talked about at all. And you've got this. This is one of your issues. Give me your pitch. Why should we legalize sports betting?
Well, again, it goes back to, just the idea of letting people make choices for themselves. I don't want to regulate how people spend their money. And, I'm a sports fan. I love all the local sports. And, I wouldn't mind being able to put a bet down here or there. But, for an adult to be able to choose how they spend their money, and if they want to put it on sports betting, I have absolutely no problem with that. We shouldn't be forcing people to go to Iowa or Las Vegas or Wisconsin or whatever to place a bet. Let's keep it in state here, and let's find a way to make sure that it works with the tribal communities, and let's get it going here.
The concern that people bring up, and I want you to address this as well, is that you brought up Vegas. And one of the things I think Vegas does relatively well is that if people start getting out of control, they put a stop to it. They say, okay, enough's enough. We're done gambling today. They don't want people necessarily to lose their life savings on a night in Vegas. What have you seen, or what kind of rules would we want to put into place to make sure that if we're going to have gambling, which is addictive, there's a lot of people that are addicted to gambling, that we have safe measures in place to prevent that from becoming a major crisis?
That's a fair question. And, off the top of my head, I'm not sure of what specific measures would be in place, but I look at it like, the state lottery, like scratch-offs or playing Powerball. People are able to blow money on that if they choose. And I think as long as we make sure that there are resources out there for people if they feel that they have a gambling problem, or if they have an issue with it, that family members can reach out to, just so that at the very least there is a lifeline that's out there, and we make that clear to ensure that if somebody might be going down a dangerous road, that we can get them help.
You're for strong unions too, and this is one of the things which I find to be infuriating as you go out into some of these Republican areas and you talk to union guys and they say, I vote Republican. I said, do you understand that if the Republicans could do it, they would outlaw unions, make Minnesota a right-to-work state tomorrow, and even all the Republicans who have said, I'm pro-union, I'm pro-union, I'm pro-union, they would run to vote to get rid of unions in the state as much as possible. If you really are for keeping strong unions in Minnesota, you got to vote for the DFL, because they're the ones who truly are there to defend the unions.
Yeah, 100%. And, I think it goes back to how successful nationally the GOP, messaging and smears against the DFL has been, where, to me it feels like a no-brainer that the DFL is the party of the working class and, pro-union, pro-worker. And really that's kind of part of what I'm trying to do out here in District 28A, is just let people know that, I want to have a strong workforce here. I want to have strong unions, and want to make sure that we can put our communities in position to have people that can be a part of these unions and have great jobs.
You say you're at some of these festivals that are going on here. I just saw the Cambridge guys. Your Cambridge, royalty was at the Hopkins Raspberry Festival. They came through. They were part of that parade there. What's the next big weekend event up in your district that you got circled on your calendar that's coming up here?
Yeah, actually, the Santee County Fair is this week.
Nice.
It starts on Wednesday and goes through this weekend. So the DFL is going to be there. I'm going to be there, and just really going to be interacting with the community and just putting myself out there. I want to hear from people, and I don't live in a silo where I just want to hear praises or things that people support. I want to be able to have respectful conversations and be able to hear constituents out and hear what their concerns are. And like I said, I come from advertising and marketing. I'm used to having, my ideas challenged, and I think that's healthy, if it's done in a respectful way. And I just, again, want to be able to communicate with the community and hear what they have to say, and hopefully just have some nice, productive conversations where we can hear each other out.
Erik, this is the point of the conversation where I take over for a quick second here. Because all the DFLers, all the Democrats who are listening out there, help your local DFLer, of course. But if you're in a relatively safe seat, I need you to take some. Well, why not go to the Santee County Fair? That's coming up this weekend. Head on up there. Help out Erik Johnson in 28A. you can actually pick up some seats. This is not necessarily the long shot it once was. This is a district that's becoming more urban. There are more people that are living up there, and the Democratic message resonates. You're hearing it from Erik himself that it resonates up there, and even some Republicans are starting to take his side on this issues. So if we send enough people up there to volunteer and to donate, guess what? We might be able to pick up 28A, and that goes a long way to making sure that the DFL holds the Minnesota House. So, Erik, if people want to find out more about your campaign, how to volunteer, how to donate, what's the website they should go to?
Yeah, they should go to erik4mn.com. That's ERIK, the number 4mn.com. There's a secure ActBlue donate link on my website, but also there's a contact form where if people want to get involved or volunteer, just fill out that form. I'm going to be the one that responds to it, and we'll find a way to get you engaged and make sure that you can be a part of this too.
It's this simple. I mean, if you door knock on every door in your district, you're going to win. I mean, it comes down to it. So you need volunteers up there to go help out with that. So that's the marching orders, people. I need you to get up to 28A and help out Erik Johnson. Erik, ERIK, the number 4mn.com. I'll link to everything a little bit later on and spotlight this interview. Erik Johnson, all my best up there in 28A, and thank you very much. I appreciate your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Erik Johnson, Democrat of the Day. We'll take a break. Come on back. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.